Sounds about right. Welcome to the Evan Adams Show. We are sending you off for our hiatus in style. I have a case of the hiatuses. We'll be back on July 7th, I believe. We have Calvin Johnson on the show. The unfortunate part of this whole thing is the hiatus comes at a time where Calvin Johnson has his golf tournament, which was so fun, iconic. Randy Moss, everyone was there last year. It was so fun, raising so much money for all the goodness that he does in that area in Michigan. But we won't have a show. We won't be able to be there this year, but we're going to get all the info out to you. Maybe I'll make a donation. I'm feeling a little frisky on this day before hiatus. So we have Megatron. If you have questions for him, let me know. And then, of course, we'll figure out what's going on in the AFC North. Hopefully, let's do it. We should have Joe Haden on the program as well. Excited to have him. We're supposed to have him yesterday. Happy to have him. Well, the embrace of Joe Haden. Joe Haden, excellent television, amazing takes out of him. And there's so many things to inquire about with the Pro Bowler, former Steeler. Of course, Aaron Rodgers. Maybe let's make sense of the Browns quarterback situation. I'd like to understand the latest with Shemar Stewart in Cincy. So we have all of that to get to. Very excited to have Megatron on the show. Who knows a thing or two, of course, about Aaron Rodgers. I think, like Hamilton, we're taking the hiatus at the perfect time, right?
Yes.
Is Aaron Rodgers going to kind of go away first? I think that storyline can sort of evaporate for the time being.
Yeah, once minicamp is over, that's going to die down. I'm also getting to the point, just some of the takes and the videos from these minicamps are driving me insane. There's a clip of Debo running around at half speed on air, and everyone's freaking out, talking about his weight, talking about how he's cooked. It's a drill against air at half speed. And we're going to freak out about that. I'm ready for the hiatus.
Do you hear that, you losers out there making these clips and populating that beautiful app with these clips of Debo? I watched it and I didn't know what the criticism was. I said, I don't know what happened here. He's catching the ball. What is the problem? His weight has always been a thing. People really weight shame Debo Samuel more than others. It's true.
It is true. And the criticism is it looks like he's slow, like he's running in quicksand, all that stuff. It's a drill at half speed in June, without a defense on the field.
Do you think the internet will be kind with my first pitch coming up in a couple of weeks? I'm rethrowing the pitch for the Cubs in a couple of weeks.
It depends on how you throw. You better bring the heat like last time. When you practiced in the hallway for 2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe we can pull that up in a break or something. I think it's in a slide on my Instagram it was very long ago. But I did it. I didn't practice. I practiced with my brother 12 minutes before. Didn't practice. I kind of let it rip. I stood in front of the mountain. Part of me is I want to bring heat now. You know what I'm saying? But there's a part of me is what's the Binford 5000 of this, because I could just go do the same thing over again. I almost think that I'm in a bad position because I can't do better than that. That was impressive to everyone. So now to think that the part of me wants to get in the gym and really learn how to Randy Johnson this thing, southpaw that I am.
Yeah. Got to throw it 100 miles per hour to keep the pigeons out of the way.
Yeah.
And,
what if I Christopher Lloyd, Angels in the Outfield this thing? You know what I'm saying? And everyone's just doing this in the crowd. For me, that's sort of what I'm thinking. Who could I get to teach me how to throw heat like that in the next 12 minutes? But you know that I won't do it until 5 minutes before the pitch happens.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get to all these things going on. You said you're over minicamp. You're over the highlights. I love it. We're going to hear from players and coaches, of course. There is something that caught our attention coming out of Green Bay. As you know, I love Green Bay. My ears are to the ground in Green Bay. My loyalties are to the Oval Office, Gentlemen's Club in Green Bay, near Green Bay. Everyone's focusing on Jordan Love's reaction to Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers. And, obviously are they going to jersey swap? What will it be like when they face each other in Pittsburgh? Sadly, not in Lambeau. Don't love that. But I sort of am dialed into the fact, that Jordan has now confirmed something that we've been thinking for a while, when it comes to the Packers and wide receiver. Who's the number one wide receiver? Is it, I'm an idiot. I said it was Romeo Doubs last year. Is it? Oh, sorry, Hamilton. I can hear you. Oh. Cut his mic. Appreciate it. Is it Christian? Is it Romeo Doubs? Is it whoever? No, it is in fact their tight end. And listen to what Jordan Love said.
Be a big part of the offense. I think Tuck, since he's stepped on the scene, has kind of shown who he is as a playmaker and shown us reasons why we should just keep getting him the ball. But I think a big part of going in this season is going to be finding ways to continue to get Tuck the ball, get him as many touches as we can in a game, because he's a dynamic playmaker and does some really good things once he gets his hands. So that's going to be a focus going into the season, is trying to make sure we can get him as many touches as possible each week.
Control room giving Hamilton the credit for this take, for this thing on Tucker Kraft. No, I said this. The ball, sure, we're going to spread the ball around. There's the young guys. You get Matthew Golden, the rookie, Savion Williams, who I got to meet. I like them together. They like each other a lot. The receiver room is deep. Coach LaFleur told us that they're having the competition for all of us. But you just heard Jordan Love there. It's the tight end. I'm sorry to say this, I think he might like him the best. I think he's the guy that he will go to. He just said that. He is the leading receiver on this team. I think that. Tell me I'm wrong. And it's not a stretch. He was second in yards and catches a year ago. It's not the craziest take. No victory laps to be taken by anyone. I think he takes it a step further this year. Take a look at this. We're dabbling into fantasy football a little early this year. Day before hiatus, Tucker Kraft going 11th right now at the tight end spot on Fantasy Pros. Very interested to see how that kind of shifts. We're getting closer to the season. I think he's going to end up very much so. I'm going to say top 3. He's going to be a top 3. Top 3 tight end this year. And the Packers passing game, I expect to take a big leap. If you look at the Packers, they're in the mix for the division. As a result, FanDuel Sportsbook, guys, go there, get your bets in. Hopefully you did well on the finals, game 3, of course, go Pacers. But if you go there and you look at some of these futures going on with the NFL, Packers are plus 260 to take care of business against the Lions in the North. That's the closest they've been to Detroit since the futures odds first dropped back in March. And Jordan Love's line for passing yards, 3,600 right now. So, come on, you got to bang the over on 3,600, right? All that depth. You're looking at, I think just like the complexion of even just the rest of the division, they're going to throw a lot. Josh Jacobs aside, all of that. So, Dad, by the way, there's like a million future props over on FanDuel Sports. We'll go check them out in the break. We're going to cover the Bucs and then we'll take a break. But Tampa Bay, the Bucs might have given Baker Mayfield. There's another thing that sort of stuck out with all the mini camp noise going on. His receiver room, speaking of passing, it's just loaded. It is loaded. We know they have perennial GOAT, future Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, 1,000-yard receiver every year, Mike Evans. You got Chris Godwin. He's back. Then they have Jalen McMillan, who went off down the stretch. They made some draft picks. And then, of course, another draft pick, 7th rounder, Tez Johnson out of Oregon. He instantly became one of my favorite receivers. Let me tell you, I'm at the Panini Rookie Premiere. We had been there for 6 hours, I think, to this point, pouring rain. I looked awful. Like some of my most awful looking stuff. The interviews, not crisp, not great, because it was one after the other and they were quick and they were. Tez Johnson, who I, of course, have heard of from Bucky Irving, on my very show, comes and he sits down, and I would have sat there for 7 more hours. At this point, I sound like I'd smoked 9-pack of Winston Reds, absolutely freezing. I have hot hands in places one should not have hot hands. And Tez Johnson was theater for me. He was turning it on. He was so excited. He's a guy who I'd want my locker room next to. Like, it was absolutely perfect. And he took me through. I just, as I ask everyone, like, what is it about? When a bunch of guys say the same thing about one player, like all the quarterbacks talk about Matthew Stafford, I'm like, what is it? What is it? The answer is always, Matthew Stafford trusts me to make the play. Matthew Stafford's going to give me the chance to make a play. That's why they like him, right? And the toughness and all of that. I asked always the same thing about Baker Mayfield. I asked it to Levante David. Why do you love him? And Levante said to me, it's because I want to run through a wall for him. Look at how he blocks. That's Levante David, who's a future Hall of Famer, who's been on this team forever, seen a revolving door of quarterbacks in his day. Tez Johnson, what does he know about what's going on with the Bucs? What does he know about Baker Mayfield? What is it about Baker? What is it about him that makes people want to play harder?
I mean, look what he did. Like, he had Joey Bosa on one arm just to throw a ball. know what I mean? And you like, oh my gosh, Baker don't care. First of all,
Baker don't care.
Baker don't care who
Baker
you
don't
are.
care.
Baker don't care who you are, how good you are. He finna go
Well
out there
said.
and go head up with you every single day. And I love that for him. And one thing I noticed about Baker, like if you turn on our film, if you watch Tampa Bay anybody highlights, and say for instance somebody break a long run or just having a breakout play, watch Baker, watch what he does. I can remember specifically the Panthers. Bucky
This is the best interview ever. This is unbelievable.
Bucky has a big run, and watch Baker. Baker literally chased Bucky down to go block for him, be his lead block. And that's consistency throughout the entire season. And that shows what type of guy, what type of player he is.
The rest of the interview is just as good. Hamilton, the second I left the field that day, I said, Tez Johnson and I are starting a podcast. I did something I don't usually do. I hyped up that description off the dome from Tez, who didn't know he was getting to chop it up with me that day. He didn't know anything I would say. What did you think of that answer? Like, what?
I thought it was amazing. He's clearly was in tune with that team all year. He talked to about how he kind of manifested it throughout the year, how he wanted to be a Buck while he was still at Oregon. That was the place he wanted to land. And clearly a big part of that reason was Baker Mayfield. But yeah, there was that whole interview was so good. We got to get some more of it out at some point too. And just talking about the Bucks uniforms too, I loved that. And I think Bucks fans will appreciate
his
that.
locker room next to Mike Evans, who like those two should not be. That's like water and I don't even know. I'm too tired to even say. I haven't had enough coffee. Oil and vinegar. That's such a creepy. I hate when people say oil and vinegar. They're not. There's definitely opposing personalities. But this isn't. You know, that was a perfect 10 out of 10 summation of Baker Mayfield. You know, and it's of course emphasized, underlined, highlighted, bolded by everyone who's ever played with him. This isn't some cute story of Bo Nix's brother getting a shot in the league, by the way. You know what he was talking about there, getting to reunite with his buddy, with his teammate Bucky Irving. There's I have more clips. I'll get them out. Like the manifestation of Tez as a Buccaneer. And he's been showing out, you know, obviously already with, you know, Bucking Irving, all that. Listen to what Todd Bowles had to say after minicamp yesterday.
Well, we know he can get down the field. He has a lot of speed, but he's just not a speed guy. He's a very good receiver. He's a route runner. He's more than a punt returner. He actually has a chance to be a vital part of our offense if he keeps trending in the way he's trending.
I like that vital part of our offense. He is not huge. He is very fast. And I love, it caught my attention from Bowles there. You know, at Oregon, he scored double-digit touchdowns each of the last 2 years with Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel. And seriously, who has it better than Baker right now? If you look at that room, the offense, so deep, so loaded. They're so overlooked, it makes me love them. I love Tez Johnson. I'm going to root for him all freaking year. And I think Tampa should be getting a lot more attention in the NFC. I talked to Jason Light about this. They like being slept on to a point though, right? Hamilton, wasn't that sort of like even just at the owners meetings, it's like, do we enjoy this? And it's like, no, I think now it's time to flex a little. I get the same thing with the Broncos. Don't talk about us, but now we're actually here. You can talk about us. And I think that is the vibe with this Buccaneers team, and it should. I mean, Baker's not going to fall off, and I don't know what their odds are. Do you have this plus 34? What do you got for me there?
Yeah, let me take a look. But yeah, it's like once Brady, they're plus 100 to win the division. So still not even minus odds in that division with how dominant they've been over the last couple of years there, which is surprising. But yeah, it's like they only got talked about when Tom Brady was there. Brady leaves. They've had a ton of success since, and it's like they go right back to the back burner.
Yeah. Love that. I also just want to say, let's get through this really quick. I know we have Calvin Johnson on their side. Game 3 in the NBA Finals last night, Halliburton, insane. Clutch, once again, I was looking at the highlights at midnight. I didn't get to watch it, but it's unbelievable. The bench stuff, iconic, historic. Pacers pull off the upset, we know, of course, to take the 2-1 lead now in the series. But if you take a look at the odds stand to keep the FanDuel going here to end this right now, like, okay, this is game 4. Okay, this is OKC, 6-point faves for tomorrow's game. They're favored to win the series at minus 230. So if you've been on the Pacers to win the series before last night's game, you would have gotten them at plus 480. They're now plus 190. And Halliburton, by the way, plus 750 to win MVP before last night, and that's now plus 270. SGA still, our MVP is still a fave there at minus 240. So that's something to keep an eye on. Go over there, sprinkle. And we also have game 4 in the Stanley Cup tonight. Oilers, Panthers in Florida. Florida. I don't know why Canada needs. I did not realize they had such a Stanley Cup drought going on. The best hockey's played in Florida. Doesn't make any sense, but I like it. Panthers 2-1 series lead. I'm looking at FanDuel Sportsbook, as are you. Minus 152 to win again tonight. FanDuel has a PBT, 25% PBT on any bet with odds that are minus 200 or longer over there. And I might as well tell you guys the U.S. Open in golf's underway in Pennsylvania. Oakmont action. Tell me what I need to know about that. Tweet me. Let me know. Current odds in real time. Scotty Scheffler, who only has 2 hole-in-ones to his name. He is the fave. No surprise there. And he tees off at 1:25 Eastern. Our friend, or my friend of the show, my friend of my life, Colin Morikawa, is going to tee off with him there. So if you guys want to get to that, have some fun. You're seeing the odds there on FanDuel Sportsbook. We'll talk some more golf with Calvin Johnson after this, our guy.
So much going on the sportsbook this weekend.
I
Fun
know.
time.
I don't know the Open was even happening. I've not been thinking about golf at all.
Flipping. You had a run there where you're on the pulse of everything.
I know, but now I'm sad because I can't go to I want to go to Calvin Johnson's thing, but I'm in Chicago. Okay, I'm in Chicago the next day. I'm doing that that speech, whatever the keynote. I can hear everything, you guys. Whatever's going on with Control Room, I really would love to not hear it. Nobody wants me to hear anything. Trust you. Oh, you and I can talk later, but I don't want to hear anything. What was I going to say? I want to go to Calvin's thing because we were on such a good run. Yeah. But we can't because we can't bring the show. We could have done content. I was trying to make it work so badly.
I know.
It was so fun last year.
It was such an awesome experience last year. All the guys that are out there to support Calvin, his foundation, everything they have going on.
So we'll talk about that. What's the show? Is there new Shemar news? Yeah. What's this? 2 hours ago?
He's
left?
Not.
He left.
He left minicamp. Yep. Left minicamp completely. So
what are we doing?
I can't under the new CBA. I can't remember. I mean, Joey Bosa held out a few games into the season with the Chargers. That's the only one but that wasn't as publicly ugly as this one. They've made it a lot, they've made it a lot more cookie cutter for these rookie contracts under the CBA with where things slot in. This shouldn't be happening anymore.
Oof.
Yeah. And Zach Taylor spoke about it this morning. Said there's a first for everything, referring to Shemar and his contract situation. Said he wants him to be there on the field, but not going to make any predictions on if or when he's there. So, not great with this on top of the Trey Hendrickson news if you're a Bengals fan right now.
I didn't see that this morning.
Yeah.
I see Shador's late at practice though.
Yeah.
Doing his thing. Yeah, I don't know. We'll ask Joe Haden, of course, about all of these things. I don't love that.
Yeah.
Oof. Okay, yay. Yeah. Music video?
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. It's Calvin.
Mm-hmm.
We're legendary. Calvin Johnson. Unbelievable. Touchdown. Secondary. We're legendary. Megatron. Wow. Legendary.
A true legend, my favorite legend. I shouldn't have favorites. We had Rod Woodson on the show. We've had a lot of Hall of Famers, but Calvin Johnson is the Up and Adams Hall of Famer, Lions legend of note. 3-time All-Pro. You are the best. And how about those Detroit Tigers? Second best record in baseball.
How about them? Yeah, they're keeping it rolling since last season. I love it.
You look cool as shit. What is this? What is happening right now? You look so cool.
I'm in Florida. Yeah, I'm getting some sunshine. Yes.
Yeah. From the slopes to Miami. I don't know. Which do you prefer? You do it all.
Don't ask. That's tough. I don't know if I'd rather be on the mountain on my snowboard or on the beach. I don't know.
You look awesome. It's great to see you. I mentioned the Detroit Tigers thing off the top because it's got to be because they're a proud partner of Primitive Performance, right?
You know, that it's got to have something to do with it. You know, we came into the mix last year, and they got into the playoffs out of nowhere, and then look at them this year. You know, so I would like to believe that.
You were at a game last weekend with Kirby Joseph. I remember once you said on my show, I don't hang out with the wide receivers. I go and I hang out with the DB. So you were not lying. What was this like?
No, it's cool. I love Kirby, man. He brought his brothers with him too, so he had his family in the house. But no, we were there supporting a great cause, and it's really we got a company that they're bringing fund recovery. They're bringing vending machines with not so long, so that people can try to reverse their overdoses around cities that have the most that are most impacted by the opioid pandemic. So really just trying to put our support behind them and their efforts, and that's why we were there at the game, celebrating with them.
I didn't know that. I think that's so amazing. I was just looking at, I was this morning looking at Detroit Tigers news here. They're on track to make back-to-back playoff appearances for the first time in over a decade. Okay, but since like Verlander and Miggy Cabrera, I know that it all started with a Primitive deal last season. So if the Yankees or the Guardians come to you, Calvin, and say, we see what you've done for Detroit, we want in on this now, what's the answer?
Oh, it's very easy for us. We've already set the path forward. So anybody can really, any organization, collegiate or professional, really can step into the shoes of what the Tigers are doing currently. But it's awesome to be able to do it with the Tigers in our own backyard, and obviously the success that they're having and the city of Detroit's having currently.
You also made an appearance at the Detroit Sports Spectacular, along other Detroit icons, of course, including Jared Goff, who's about to become a dad. Father's Day is around the corner. Happy early Father's Day to you. What is your best parenting advice for Jared Goff?
Be patient. I think for me, the things that irk me the most, your kids are definitely going to do those things. So just learning how to be patient. I think you gain a whole nother level of patience when it comes to your children, because they're just, spitting images of yourself.
And speaking of Detroit icons, like yourself and Jared Goff, Frank Ragnow retired. Sort of stunning, came and went. I feel like the news, such an incredible stint, 7 seasons in the NFL. Where does he leave a bigger void? Do you think it's on the O-line or just sort of as the leader and what he meant soul-wise to that team?
Fortunately, there's some guys, we have some veterans in that room, but definitely his level of experience, the level of play that he brought to this team is going to be missed. But you got to respect his decision to take care of his body. It's a brutal sport. He's banging heads with other 300-pound men for 60 plays a game. So much respect to him. What great career. The great things that he's done in helping Detroit in this revitalization here. But it's definitely going to be. It's going to hurt. But I don't think that, just like we stepped up to the plate last year on defense after, guy went hurt or went down, I think that it's just a next man up mentality here in Detroit.
How are you feeling about the Lions?
Everybody asks me that, and it's easy for me now. We got Johnny Moore and we got Shepard. Guys that are familiar. I mean, Shep's been here for, I don't know, that last almost handful of years, probably ever since Dan's been here. Johnny Moe has been here. He wasn't here last year, but he was here. He's seen the team. He knows the talent that we have on offense. And he's been around, the offense that Ben was calling. Not that it's going to be the same thing, but he knows the players. And he's going to know how to get the ball into those players' hands. So I'm not as concerned as I was right when it happened at the end of the season last year.
Everyone's asking you because I think that there are quite, it's not just Johnny Moe who was there in 2022. You're right. He knows everybody, all of that. But when you change, I'm thinking of Jared Goff here, baby coming in. He's going to handle that great. He's a professional. 3 different OCs in your first 3 years. Okay. Changing coordinator, both sides, center, like that sort of messes with things a little bit. If you were to be concerned about one thing with your Lions, what would it be?
If I was going to be concerned about anything, it would be the O-line. The way our offense moves the ball. And, if I was concerned, I'm not truly concerned, but if there was a concern to be, it'd just be the offensive line because they got to keep Jared up, for us to have success. So for him to distribute the ball to our playmakers if we could put points up, even if the other team's scoring, we got a chance to win still because we got those guys up, and you got to keep them up. You got to keep them on his feet. You can't get hit early and often.
I was looking at Jared Goff's MVP odds before you came on. He's behind Brock Purdy, and he's behind C.J. Stroud at plus 3,100. He finished 5th last year. What gives here?
I don't know. I'm assuming that it has something to do with the coordinator change. I'm assuming that those folks took that into account here. But I love it. Jared's probably gonna wear it as a chip on his shoulder, as he should.
Yeah. Did you hear that Dan Campbell wants to have a real lion on the sidelines?
All right. Well, I'm just keep my butt in the stands.
you're like Kirby Joseph, I love you, but I'm not coming down there anymore. Can you imagine? Like, I don't even know what that means, but apparently Sheila Ford has no problem with it. But what would that do? How would that affect players in any way? What do you think of that?
I'm sure the players would be juiced up. Maybe a little fear creep in, just making sure that everything is secure. But oh man, I'm sure the guys got to be turned up, especially if that thing roars a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely horrifying. I want nothing to do with that. When you're talking about roar, I mean, Jared Goff, his whole thing, like if he can overcome losing Ben Johnson, like that. That's like iconic, and he can do that. And I hope that that's what his future is he's sort of rewritten this narrative. I'd like to see it. I'm trying to gauge a little bit from you how big of a deal Ben Johnson is. Like you just, the loss doesn't seem to be that much, but is the addition to Chicago huge? Like what's the impact that Ben Johnson will have, you think, as a head coach?
It all depends on his relationship, I think, with Caleb and the protection that he provides for him. I think if he protects Caleb, we know Caleb has talent. Caleb can throw the ball. He can use his legs. He can help to create a formidable force over there on that offense if he can keep him up. I think at the end of the day, I think that's what it really comes down to. I know he'll have the schemes, obviously, as we saw here in Detroit. But a lot of that just comes down to, can you protect the quarterback? Can you give him time to, make those reads and make the completion? So I think that, it's very good chances of having success with the quarterback that he has, because we know that kid has talent over there.
Mm-hmm. When you heard Aaron Rodgers was a Steeler, what's the first thing you thought?
I was like, really? It don't even look right. It don't even seem right. But, they were in need. They're in need. They're looking for a short-term solution, because I can't imagine. I don't even know what they have in their depth, as far as depth in the quarterback room there. But looking for a short-term solution that can get their guy at the ball and potentially get Metcalf and those guys in the end zone.
Do you think that him and Metcalf could have like the best quarterback deep threat thing in the league this year?
I'm actually, I haven't thought about it too much, but the more I do think about it, Metcalf, he's in a great situation. You got a veteran quarterback. You got a guy that can still put the ball anywhere on the field. So if I was him, I'd be a little giddy going into this into training camp.
What else were you excited about? Obviously, you have the Lions. You have everything going on with your golf tournament. We'll get to that. Anything else that you're finding interesting in the league right now? We've got Devontae's a Ram. That's weird.
Yeah, all the different moves. People, when you see, people that are staples on different teams and different colors, it's always a little bit of a shock. Like just seeing Aaron Rodgers, in then Steelers uniform. But it'll come to normalcy, here sooner than later once football gets back on television, all day, every day.
Before I let you go, I'm going to go back to Aaron Rodgers a little bit. Week 16, the Lions play the Steelers. Okay, based on contract. There's a contract incentives with this whole thing. Here are the odds. We put this together for you, and I probably can't see them on your phone. Here's different benchmarks. What do you think which of these do you think he's going to hit? Steelers make the playoffs, win wild card round, Super Bowl. What do you think he'll hit?
The Steelers have a chance to make the playoffs, I believe, just because of what Tomlin does every year and the upgrades they made. And I feel like they lost one, but they got DK. And obviously the upgrade and what I believe is Aaron Rodgers. So I think they have a chance to make the playoffs. I will hope that they, for Tomlin's sake, that they win the first round, but I don't know how deep they go, because I'm not super familiar to be able to speak on the teams. I'm not sure of their depth and then their starting lineup.
And with Devontae, like, and Stafford, when you heard that happened, what would you tell? I mean, he doesn't need advice. Of course, we know that. Like, what do you make of that connection? Will it work? What were your thoughts?
Well, Devontae's, I saw Devontae grow into a very solid receiver, a great receiver from his time in Green Bay to where he is now. So I think that, you know, him being the veteran he is and Matthew being who he is, even though when a new receiver came to Matthews or came to our team, they always had to adjust to the fastball that Matthew throws. I would imagine, you know, Aaron Rodgers having a similar arm strength, he'll be able to adapt fairly quickly.
How do you build chemistry quickly with Stafford? There's a window here. They got to go.
You work and you talk. You work and you communicate. You know, you put the work in. You show that you want to work because Matthew's going to put the work in. He wants to see that and he wants to have that trust and I get that level of accountability in his team members. So Devontae's just got to go in there and show that, you know, I don't know what year he's in, but that he's willing to work. And even if it's not, you know, so much putting the work in on the practice field, that he's showing that he's willing to, you know, get in there and communicate, maybe go through film, you know, just trying to get on the same page, you know, off the field because they're veterans. You know, they might be limited on as far as practice time goes.
Calvin, in your eyes, like, how will he be different than Cooper Kupp?
You know what? The difference is in their game. You know, I feel like they have, you know, as far as the plays that they make, the big plays, the kind of the splash plays that they can make, I think they're very similar in that aspect. I think that he just has to come in, pick up where Cooper left off and then some, and then watch Puka do his thing.
We have Joe Haden coming on the show. We're going to talk AFC North, but I don't know if you, I don't know if you're reading these headlines. Looks like you're just having the best off season ever. I'm going to call it an off season, even though your whole life is an off season right now. Trey Hendrickson might be available. Okay. 17 and a half sacks. He's done it twice. One of the best in the game. The Bengals might not get the deal done. If they don't come up with a new deal, is this something that Detroit should explore?
Man, I would love that. See Hayden and Hendrickson cross from each other. That's pretty scary. That would be pretty. That would be awesome. That would be that would be a dominant move. I don't know if we can afford it, but hey, that'd be a great move.
I mean, Zadarius Smith walked in free agency. Marcus Davenport's there. I love that. But we're getting the Calvin Johnson co-sign and maybe bringing him in. Are you a Terry McLaurin guy?
I love Terry.
What's going on
Scary
there?
Terry? I don't know. That's weird because you got to
skipping minicamp. What's going on?
I'm assuming it's got something to do with the pay. So I mean, pay the man because the man has been nothing but consistent. I don't know Terry very well, but from afar, man, the guy has been nothing but consistent for that organization. He's been a staple there in Washington for his whole career, and you know, and he plays well. He steps up in big games, and I mean, I love watching the kid because he's always making plays. Are you
hearing him, Commanders? Are we hearing Calvin Johnson is telling you that he loves Terry?
Come on, Magic, pay the man.
Come on, Magic, pay the man. That's all I needed. That's all I needed to hear. You have two big events, Calvin, coming up, and thank you so much for your time. You are a Hall of Fame soul as well. You have the Calvin Johnson Celebrity Golf Classic. That's June 30th, and the Catching Dreams Football Camp, June 29th. Give me all the details.
Yes. And we're back at the Detroit Lions practice facility for our camp this year, bringing in pros from all different teams, from all different decades, and you know, just going to try, like I say, all like we do every year, just to try to dump into the kids the tools that we've gained throughout our career, and just hoping that they're able to grasp some of those things that we're dumping to them in that limited amount of time that we're able to spend with them. So we look forward to doing that on June 29th here. And then on that Monday, on the 30th, we have our third annual Celebrity Classic. This year we will be at the Cardinal at St. John's Resort, the host of the Live. I don't know if it's the Live Championships or if it's their last tournament, but Live is golf is coming there here in August. So it's exciting. Got a lot of guys coming in. I'm getting better in golf myself, and you know, it's going to be a competitive environment. And you know, I can't wait. I get to see all my guys from my team here in Detroit. Guys that I met from, you know, different sports, different industries. So I'm excited to be able to bring everybody together, hang out, and you know, kudos to all my sponsors. And my presenting sponsors are the Detroit Lions and Stiefel. So thank you very much for them contributing and believing in what we're doing in the community.
Amazing. I'm going to sponsor a hole. I'm going to tell you, I'm sponsoring my own, not the show. I'm sponsoring a hole because I can't make it up there. It is such an amazing cause. And you see when you're there, And it's not just like a couple hours of these guys, Tom. These are legends who are spending 2 days trying to raise as much money, and it goes directly to the kids who need it. And it's really beautiful. So thank you for all of your work. We're going to have a Kay Adams hole there. And I hope it's a hole-in-one hole. Rod Woodson told me he has 5 hole-in-ones in his career. Isn't that insane?
Wow. That's ridiculous. I just want one. I just want one.
Yeah.
One day. It's coming.
I'm going to bring in, before you go, Joe Haden here. Now, you guys have Joe Haden. Welcome to the show. You two have one head-to-head matchup. 2013, week 6. Joe, what do you remember from this game?
I remember that I was a little bit scared at first. I know Calvin, he was one of them. He looks so much bigger in person than he did on tape. So that was the one thing I knew. And then I got a slant route that he kind of beat me on that looked like I broke up. And that was my highlight of the day. He had 3 catches for 25 yards. I remember this like it was yesterday, but he had a slant that he could have caught for a touchdown, threw me out the way, got open, and it just didn't work out. So I was excited that he didn't score on me. But Calvin is the GOAT. Every time people ask me, I tell them he's my hardest cover I ever had to defend.
Yeah, I never had him. What up, Joe, man? How you doing, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing, brother?
I've never had any success on Joe, so that's unfortunate. That's one guy I never really was able to get over on. So that's because he's a formidable opponent, though. That's all that is.
Joe, tackling Calvin had to be terrifying there. I love it. What a day for Joe Fourier. And I love that you remember the exact numbers from that play. You're both goats. Calvin, thank you so much. And good luck with the golf tourney and all the things going on. Good luck.
Thank you, Kay. Good to see you, Joe. Y'all have a good one.
Good to see you,
Good
brother.
to see you. The Lions tight end had 3 touchdowns in that game. That's crazy. Are we going to take a break and come back with Joe? Okay, we're going to take a short break. We're back with Joe in just a little bit. And I want to know about Trey Hendrickson, and I want to know about Shemar, and I want to know about Shedeur Sanders. All the things after this. Too funny.
Yeah, that's one of those things. When you hold Calvin to 25 yards, you remember that sticks with you.
Yeah, I guess so.
12 years later. So.
Ham, will you do me a favor? I don't know if Kat's watching the show. Can you text her for me and say, can you just sponsor a hole, but she should do it through Janine. She should hit up Janine and let's sponsor that hole. I love Calvin.
He's the best.
He just looked so cool. I wasn't ready for that. He always does.
I mean, yeah. How could you not be ready? Come on.
So cool. Okay. We have a music video too, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. Hayden's a golf guy too, right? Yeah. Big golf guy.
Big time. He is a
Oh, was it
he's not
Tim
just
Brown
worried
that said
about
he had?
dabbling.
Oh, sorry, it wasn't Rob that
Tim
said
Brown.
he had 5 hole-in-ones. It was Tim. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, we've had it's been Hall of Fame Alley this week.
So many Hall of Famers. It's hard to keep them all straight. Yeah.
It was Tim Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yeah, Joe's on another level though. He's not just, Calvin's talking about wanting to get better and stuff. Joe's out here.
He's the pro. Yes. Now I remember.
Yeah.
He had a win last week, I read. Yep.
Yeah.
Golf sounds just miserable.
Yeah. I'm not there yet in my life.
You don't ever play?
I have a few times, we do charity ones for New Rochelle football, and it is tough.
Bleak.
It is tough.
Yeah, being the director of vibes at these things is fun.
Yeah,
just being the cart girl with the thing of Goldschlager. That's my favorite thing. A little Rumpelmans in my left hand, Goldschlager in my right. We're good.
Yeah,
no
you're
shot
out there.
glasses.
It's a beautiful day.
Pouring. I like pouring. Just pouring it right in people's mouths. Just great. That's my life. Okay. Ooh, I can't wait to see these highlights. Calvin Johnson just said he couldn't have success against Joe.
What a play by Joe Haden. I'm gonna crush it. Intercepted. Joe Haden. There's no discussion, hey. I'm even crushing you if you get in the way.
Just saw him talking to Megatron. 12 seasons in the NFL, spent his life in the AFC North. Browns, Steelers, 3-time Pro Bowler, second-team All-Pro selection at cornerback. Joe Haden, Calvin Johnson just said that he couldn't have success over you ever. What does that feel like?
I mean, you know, that was in my prime. And I'm so happy that he spoke that out so people know that I was actually strapping people back in my day. So I appreciate Calvin for that big time. But I always tell people he was my number one hardest cover that I had to defend.
You were, what did you say, strapping people?
Strapping people.
You definitely, I think everyone knows, my friend, that you did that. I don't know if everyone knows what a good golfer you are. So quick congrats here. I mean, you were a golf superstar. You had a big win at the Good Lone Star Shootout. How'd it go? Tell me about this.
Oh, it went so good. I didn't play potentially too well, but my putting was on point. My partner, he was so good. And it was just a great cause. It was balling. That was my first time actually playing like on TV. So having the cameras following me, and they were like, "Joe, why are you so nervous?" I'm like, "Cause it's like you played in front of 90,000 people." I'm like, it's something that I'm actually like really good at. You know, it's something I get paid to play. Playing golf is like one shot can, you know what I'm saying, not be just throw you off guard. And it was just good to have a partner there that was really, really good. And we took it down.
You saying that you didn't even have a good day, but you winning it is such a flex. It's so fun. Like, I don't even have a great day, but you took care of business. Out of Matt Ryan, P Squared, who also thinks he's a great golfer and maybe is, Golden Tate, Matt Leinart, Jamal Charles, who's the worst? Who's the worst golfer?
Oh, man. I'm not going to lie to you. It's probably me and Charles out of that crew. Crew, Matt Ryan is at like single-digit handicap. Patrick Peterson, single-digit handicap. Golden Tate, single-digit handicap. I was very impressed watching them dudes golf out there. Like, I'm good. I'm like a 10, 11. Those dudes are like fives. You know what I'm saying? They are legitimate sticks. So they like not to just rub, but like those dudes are actually playing some golf.
Tim Brown told me this week, it wasn't Rod Woodson. Tim Brown said he has 5 hole-in-ones. He had one at Augusta. He's got like a picture of it. Like, how insane is that? And how many do you have? 5. He has 5. It's crazy.
5 hole-in-ones is actually insane. A lot of my scratch golfer friends, some of them just don't have any hole-in-ones. I actually have 2. I had one on my birthday this year, and then I had one 3 weeks on my birthday down at Jupiter, Florida, and then 3 weeks later I had another one. So I have 2 in a month, and those are my only 2.
If you were playing the pace game, you're going to beat Tiger Woods in no time. Scotty Scheffler has 2 in his career. 2, just 2, as many as you.
That's what I'm saying. I'm tied with Scotty. Golf is messed up.
Joe, how good did it feel to beat Patrick Peterson? Be honest. Be so honest with me.
You don't even know. Like, I was with my best friend Jazz. I brought him out there with me. I love Pat. Me and Pat have like friendly competitions just all the time. He's a corner, I'm a corner. We both went to SEC. He went 5th. I went 7th. It's just always like, I always look at Pat, see how good he's doing. We would bet on who was going to have more interceptions during the season. So that's just like, we always have friendly competitions, but him being better than me at golf is something that always makes me definitely always want to just continue to play. Like, because I love playing against him, and it's nothing bad. It's just friendly. Patrick Peterson is nice at golf, and anything that he wants to be nice at too, I'm like, can't just let Pat be better than me. That's something that I actually love. You
got the hardware and the good on TV. I can't imagine whenever there's a golf thing that's on TV, even the NFLPA Golf Classic, it was in Mayakoba, they put it on Golf Channel. And I'm talking like all the players were like, oh no, they were super intimidated because it's not your sport, but you're expected to be an athlete, but it's not your sport and it's frustrating anyway. So it gives you a whole other like depth of respect for the guys who do it on tour, on live, whatever. I want to talk about, of course, the Browns and the Steelers. A little trivia for you first. Okay. Do you remember the date that you picked off Ben Roethlisberger?
It was 2010. Let me see. Was it October
17th?
Come on, October.
I can't believe you. It was your first pick. What did you see? What did you see here?
Oh, we were in the zone, and they had the running back. He came out and ran an angle, and Ben kind of threw it behind him, and I was right there waiting on it. I was in the flats, so he tried to run an angle, the running back out of the backfield, and he threw it behind him. I caught it, and I wish I would have stayed up the first sideline. I see Pouncey coming. I did a little hurdle. I should have just stayed up the sideline. I would have scored. I was out faster than everybody, but I cut across the field, just trying to look sweet, and got yanked up by an offensive lineman. But I will never forget that play.
And the Steelers, by the way, they're adding an alternate helmet this year. Do you think that the yellow ones that we see here, that should be it? Take a look at those again. Let's take a look. I probably can't re-rack it. I shouldn't have even gone.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yes. 1,000%.
These are the ones? I love it.
I hope so.
I love it. I'm of course going to ask you about Aaron Rodgers. He's a Pittsburgh Steeler. He had the intro press conference, spoke so highly, of course, about the respectable legend that is Mike Tomlin and why it was a fit for him. You were a 7-year veteran. Joe, you were a star when you went to play for Tomlin. You were like a made man. What's one thing that Aaron needs to do to make sure that they have a successful relationship?
I think it's one thing when we went there, it's just he loves just lead. He's a leader of men. You just got to be a grown man. Just go there, just be honest, and I think he's gonna. Coach Tomlin does a great job of being able to just build genuine relationships with people. Like me and him had a relationship where you could just talk to him. You could feel like you could just sit down when you get to the facility at breakfast and just have a genuine conversation. Because, one thing he's going to do is he's going to be blatantly honest with you. So you just need to be honest with him. The lines of communication, I feel like Coach Tomlin is just he's so real. There's no fluff. There's no fake. So when he tells you something, he genuinely means it. So as long as you have that, you could be a man and tell him how you feel. He's going to tell you how he feels. And it's just you can go so far from that. Because a lot of coaches, some people wouldn't know. Coaches, you just want the real. You just want honest. You want it to be told what it is. And I think that Coach T and Aaron are both going to have respect for each other and be able to just have open lines of communication. So I think it's going to be able to work out perfectly.
Yeah, he didn't have that in New York. And now he's got somebody, I wouldn't say it's equal, but it sounds like somebody who is going to be welcome and receptive of feedback from a veteran. Did you feel that way about Tomlin, that he listens to what you had to say?
1,000%. I think he comes in with, he comes in asking questions, kind of, what do you guys see? He's always going to know what he wants to do. But then if there's certain tweaks that you could see, like inside of, he's like, you guys are actually out there playing. So I'm going to give you the tools, and then you kind of work with how you think it's going to be able to fit. But just make sure when y'all do that, you agree, Minka agrees, the defense agrees, and we're going to go at it together. So nobody's just no different messages. You know what I'm saying? So once we have something, then this is what we're going with. But he definitely gives you, if you've seen some stuff before, he's like, you played in a lot of games, Joe. So you see some stuff that you think is going to help us out, bring it to the team, and then we'll all talk about it, and then that's the way that we can go. So I think just being able to not think that he's the smartest man in the room, but knowing that he can take things from everybody else, from other people's situations, and if it's a good idea, he'll take it, and then he'll use that idea. So just not thinking that he knows everything, and being able to have that working relationship where he's listening to what you're saying.
Steelers Jets week 1, which is funny. That's fun. He gets to play the Jets. Let's picture week 1. Is TJ Watt out there in a Steelers uniform?
Yes. Why wouldn't he be?
I don't know what's going on. You tell me what's going on. There's something. He's been absent from mandatory minicamp. That means you're getting, you know this, you're getting fined 6 figs.
Yeah, man.
There are trade rumors. So whirling.
All I know is that TJ SWAT isn't going anywhere. He's not, the SWATster is not going anywhere. Because they would be tripping.
Tell me why.
He's because he's like a Cam Hayward. End of the day, they're going to work it out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sometimes money gets a little funny but the relationship with TJ Watt in that locker room, he's not going anywhere. That would be ridiculous. What does that look like for everybody else? Like anyone that plays for Pittsburgh, if TJ's gone, they're like this, oh, you guys don't want to win. It's not about team. It's not about that. If it's about a couple of dollars, you have the money to give TJ Watt a couple of dollars. I don't care who it is. So, I mean, just for franchise-wise, from my outside looking in, there's no chance TJ Watt isn't playing for the Steelers at the beginning of the season. 0.
Aditi Kinkabwala was reporting that one of the things holding this up is that TJ's looking for an extension sooner than the Steelers have ever, these are her words, sooner than the Steelers have ever negotiated with anyone outside of the quarterback. TJ's entering the last year of his deal. You think they get it done soon?
I mean, if not, no, not saying soon. Okay. I'm saying before the season starts.
Yeah.
Before the season starts, TJ is a grown man. He's just trying to let him know that end of the day, you know what you got here. Like I've been putting in the work. He deserves to be talking about early extensions. You know what I'm saying? If there is a player that should be talking about, it's TJ Watt with his sacks, with his production, with his leadership, with his character, with him just the way that he is carries the team. I mean, I'm not. I know everybody on the team is feeling the same exact way. If anybody were to get paid early, it should be TJ. And I know he's working, he's grinding, he's not going to come. He doesn't want to bring bad energy. This is not something TJ wants to do. But at the end of the day, he knows his worth. He knows he's a baller. And when he gets there, he's not going to be bringing any bad energy. He wants to be in there being TJ Watt. So I respect it.
Let's pretend he gets traded. It's a hypothetical.
Oh, gosh.
What is the perfect landing spot that you'd like to see him? And by the way, the rumored trade partners would be the Eagles, which would be insane, the Lions, the Commanders.
You know what? I would love. I mean, any of those teams. TJ deserves championship. So any of these teams that he goes to, he's instantly going to make them they already the Lions. I love the Lions, but I think for me, being from DC and now having Jaden Daniels and having a lot of my family being Skins fans, I wouldn't mind him going there because I think that defense, if they can get another rusher like TJ. And then they mess around and get a corner. I think that's all the Commanders need to really try to get the Eagles out of the way.
If TJ's not on the Steelers, they're not winning a championship.
No.
Who's more important in your eyes, TJ Watt or Aaron Rodgers?
The quarterback. The quarterback position is always, no matter what, it's going to be a little bit more important. But then there's the TJ. There's the quarterback, then there's the TJ.
There was another really the most highly paid guy at that position, an absolute guy that I'm terrified of, Myles Garrett. He was asked about that quarterback and about Aaron coming to the AFC North. Listen to what he said.
What do you think about Aaron Rodgers coming into the AFC North?
What do I think about it?
Face him twice a year.
I think it's a good opportunity to put him in the graveyard.
Should he be poking the bear like this, Joe? What is that face? What's that face? What's that face?
Listen, if I had pipes like Myles Garrett, I'm not scared of anyone. He doesn't. What's Aaron Rodgers going to do? He can't beat him up. So if you're a defensive lineman, you're Myles Garrett. He does that. He does this stuff. So he feels like a bully. He's not going to be able to do anything physically to him. So I wouldn't do it myself. That's not my type of. That's not the way I go. But Myles be sacking these quarterbacks. He's going after him. He's trying to let him know he doesn't care. What are you going to do to me? So it's an intimidation factor, and that dude he's scary looking.
He is scary looking, and they've got to take on the Steelers twice. Aaron Rodgers, he's going to remember that. He's going to try to come at him. You are very. It sounds like you're very into Aaron Rodgers. I know you've said he's your favorite quarterback, but there's a lot of people who think he's washed. A lot of people think it's not going to work out. You aren't one of those people.
No, I think end of the day, him playing for the Steelers, they have a really good organization. He doesn't have to do too crazy. Just don't mess it up. Don't be out there just messing things up. Be a good leader. You know what I'm saying? Make the right pass. Don't just be turning the ball over. We have a great defense in Pittsburgh, So don't mess it up. And then I think Aaron Rodgers is a way better quarterback than just a not mess it up quarterback. I think he's going to be able to make plays, be able to give opportunities, he can put the ball in places that other people can't. So he's going to be able to throw receivers open. In my opinion, having DK Metcalf is crazy. I wish they wouldn't have got rid of George Pickens, because if they would have had those two with A-Rod, it would have been trouble for everyone. But I still think, Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to, he can still sling the ball with the best of them. He may not be that mobile, but I don't think he really needs the mobility. I think his mind and his arm working alongside with Coach Tomlin, because we've been able to do it. We were doing it with Duck Hodges, with Mason, not knocking Mason, but we're doing it with this straight cool talent, just being able to get across. But you had that guy at the quarterback position, Aaron, touching the ball every play with him and Coach Tomlin, just trying to figure some stuff out, having TJ for sure, and that defense playing at a high level. I think it'd be good for them.
I think what you're saying is really, it sounds simple, but it's so accurate. Don't mess it up.
Don't mess it up. Just, because just don't be out there throwing bad, sometimes it's okay. A punt is better than a pick sometimes, just than a turnover, than a strip sack. You know what I'm saying? Just knowing, put your defense in a good situation. Let's play field position ball. Like, that's not his game, but he can be able to like mess around and start bringing out some points, start scoring some touchdowns. Then that'll look good.
You're familiar with the AFC North, of course. I'm going to ask you about these Bengals situations. You just heard Calvin Johnson say he would love Trey Hendrickson. Their rookie, Shemar Stewart, incredible upside, like unbelievable athlete, like has all the attributes that you'd want. These guys are not practicing. They're sorting out their contracts. You know this is a Joe Burrow window. You know this is a Bengals window. Here's what Shemar said. Take a listen to this.
In my case, I'm 100% right. I'm not asking for nothing y'all never done before. But in y'all case, y'all just want to win an argument instead of winning more games, in my opinion.
What do I make of this? What do I make of this? Because now Shemar, as of this morning, Shemar has left Bengals mandatory minicamp.
What did he say at the end of it?
Let's listen to it again. Can we re-rack that? I mean, he wants his contract language to mirror the last two Bengals first-round picks, Amarius Mims and Miles Murphy. Both of those dudes were taken later than Stewart. Let's listen again to what he had to say.
In my case, I'm 100% right. I'm not asking for nothing y'all never done before. But in y'all case, y'all just want to win an argument instead of winning more games, in my opinion.
It's just not good. What happens here? What happens?
That's not good. I don't know. That's not good at all. He needs to get his agent on the phone. He shouldn't be making these comments.
He shouldn't be making comments. Oh, he shouldn't be talking to the media.
No. I mean, at the end of the day, yes. I feel like you should tell him. I mean, if I'm him, you got to get your point across, because they're going to be trying to paint the narrative to what you think it is. But if the other picks before him had that deal, I mean, I don't see why he's in the wrong.
Yeah. I didn't ask you a very good question there. That's my fault. I don't know what question I want to ask him. I'm a Bengals fan, so I'm complaining about it. I want to know about your golf classic. You have the 2025 Joe Haden Golf Classic happening August 8th. What do I need to know? It's in Chesterland, Ohio.
Yes. At Fowler Mills Golf Course. It's going to be for the Special Olympics. It's going to be our second annual. Last year, it was a great turnout. It was crazy. The electricity went out. So everybody that came out, we still fought through. But this
love that. Everybody can go and check that out. And the proceeds go to part of the proceeds go to benefit Special Olympics. Quickly, we have 20 seconds left in the show. Little NBA, because I know you're a fan. Pacers win. They're up 2-1. Thunder's still favored. Should OKC be favored?
I don't think so. I think now, I mean, Indiana, their team, OKC is a better team. Pacers have just a better overall players, individuals.
Well said. Joe Haden, you're the absolute best. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend. Love you. Bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.